David, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview today, and also to the hospitality which you and Audrey have extended to me. That's lovely. Could you just tell me where you were born, a little bit about your primary education, high school education, and the events which involved you joining the Royal Australian Navy?
Yeah, well, I was born in Kew in 1923. I was a child of the Depression, and my father, who was a light horseman in World War I, being at Beersheba, he found things difficult. The result was that I had 7 primary schools as we searched around Victoria for jobs and what have you. Eventually we settled in a little town in the Dandenong called Belgrave, and we spent the last few years there at primary school, and from there I went to University High School in Melbourne for my secondary education. But at the age of 12, 13, I got the naval urge, and I sat for and was accepted as a cadet midshipman at the Royal Australian Naval College in the 1937 entry. One of 17 out of 700 applicants throughout Australia. I enjoyed Navy. I then had it in the blood. They say that the midshipman is the lowest form of animal life in the Navy, and that's probably true because they're subject to discipline more strong than anywhere else. But anyway, it wasn't to be, because it's a complicated story with which I won't bore you, but my parents withdrew me in the second year. Then the war broke out, and at the age of 16 I made noises which were promptly squashed. At the age of 18 I made more noises and was actually offered a commission as a sub-lieutenant coder. To me, this wasn't my idea of a war in St Kilda Road. Elected to go into the Navy as an ordinary seaman in 1941. Was earmarked for an OTC course, and that had a fair bit to do with my movements thereafter. After I finished it as an ordinary seaman at Flinders Naval Airborne Training, I was drafted to Perth and became part of an OTC course there. The theory was that I would have a few months at sea. Commander Martin had actually spoken to me a week before we were saying, well, yes, you will be going back fairly soon to Flinders Naval Airborne. It didn't happen, so I'm one of that rare breed of persons who started my naval life as a cadet midshipman and finished it 8.5 years later as an acting able seaman.
I'll just ask you to stop there, because I'm going to change my position.